honoring your emotional as well as your physical space is so important in order to break the habit of people pleasing. Now, if we don't make space for our own personal growth, our own processing, then we can't be there for others. We also can't show and represent that to others either. Now, for me, when I had come back from Europe with my two little ones at the time, they were 2 and 6, I had a lot of work to do, a lot of catch up. I had to find a job. I had to um, complete college. I had to just take care of my kids and get them to their activities and drop them off and pick them up. I had a lot on my table. But what helped was for me to schedule things out, but also make sure that I had time to myself all during the course of their growing up. Because if I got frazzled, I could take it out on them. And typically, I think I did a pretty good job of that. We all have our moments, and in the beginning, we really sometimes we don't know our limits, but we will learn them. And part of learning those limits is um, kind of embracing our own moments of vulnerability. So when I knew if I would go to bed and at night after studying, after my kids were in bed, I knew if my body felt really, just really tense in my stomach, I knew, okay, I really needed to make sure that I had more time for myself so I could hear what was going on and just deal with the time, the limited time that I had to help them out and myself. And I knew if I didn't take that time to listen to myself, whether I was happy or feeling very weak, that I would somehow bring that back to my children. And that was something that I didn't escape uh, from the country I was in, come back to the US to show them opportunities in America, to ruin it all by just burning myself out. I wanted them to see what life could be like and the opportunities. So I had to really show them how to balance and pretty much be both mother and father to them. And so what I learned were just little techniques as the years went by. Some of those techniques I learned from other mothers, some I learned spiritually. Um, those are good examples for me to be thoughtful and prayerful and turn inward to listen. So it would help me just emotionally balance things out. And some of the things that I learned, I just wanted to share with you, was when I had to make time to study, I would let them know, okay, mom needs time to study, typically when they went to bed. So they would have to go to bed. So I'd make sure I set times for them that 8 o'clock, they'd have to be in bed. You could read if you can't sleep, but I need my time to study. I would study until maybe 11 o'clock at night. And one of the techniques that I've used more later on in life, but I wish I knew this when I was younger, when my girls were younger, but was just putting something as simple as putting a little notice on my door, like you do at the hotels, and just take something, decorate it, and you can make one for the kids. The kids can make their own. And this I put on my door when I am here with you, or when I'm just writing. Sometimes when I write my blogs or work on a book, that's what I do. I make sure I post it and I let other people know. Now, once I post it, another technique, sometimes what I'll do is physically, what I'll do sometimes is I will see this little brush here. It's one of the things, you can see it. So it's very good for your skin. It actually takes off the old cells off you, but it helps you feel like you're just getting rid of dead thoughts and weight. It's physical, it's mental, and emotional to feel like you've shedded some things that were weary on you. Another thing I do when I take time to spend in my thoughts emotionally and be prepared is, and to clear the air, is sometimes I will, I haven't fixed this camera, so good, it moves with me. I haven't fixed it, haven't repaired it, but hey, it follows me, so it works. Is I'll put up some incense. And actually what I'll do is I've learned to, you could, I think this has a white sage mix. And so I will light it and I'll go in each one of the corners and I'll clear I feel that any negativity is around. I just want to make sure there's nothing in the space that I am creating in. Sometimes I'll light a candle. I make sure I have pictures over here of my family, of my daughters and my loved ones. Then I can just be focused on what I'm doing, clear out everything, and then I can be with myself in a more vulnerable way. So then I can write and share and pull things up from my heart and just all around me, and just make sure that my space is clear and full of love and thought and creativity. And I allow things, I'm in a safe space, create a safe space. So then I can put any guard down and let things in. Now, there's different places where you can be to allow creativity and vulnerability to enter your space. Sometimes it's driving in the car. Sometimes it's just showering. Everyone has different ways that great ideas and creativity come to them. But it's important that you create these spaces. Now, I've heard of one mother, she didn't have a room to do it in, a little small room. This is just a small room. But what they would do actually is they would turn a desk towards a wall and hang something on the back of her chair and let the children know, I need my space right now. And when her chair is turned the other way, she would put something on the back of her chair. They knew, leave mom alone. And she would have something on a board in front of her. So then she would put calming things that she could focus on and would kind of move her mind from the children to just what's in front of her. So you can always create something, some kind of space. And one of the best ways is to be outside in nature, and that doesn't cost a penny. So when the kids are maybe at school or sleeping, or taking a nap or something, you could just go outside, and that's an easy one. Go for a walk. But by putting down those boundaries and creating those space for you to honor yourself, you're also being an example to them on how to stay focused. We always talk about kids with social media and being glued to the screen. But if we don't show them examples of self-control and the value of your time with yourself and with, I say creativity, God, then they're not going to learn. I'm a big person on be what you want to see and be who you want to tell your children to see. Because if you say something and you're doing something, your lifestyle is totally different. It's really I will say I'm copping out if I do something different than what I'm saying to them. So I take that pretty seriously. But it's important to identify personal spaces. It's important to recognize those spaces and let others communicate with others around you, so they are aware that this is a window of time that you need so you can show up and be the best you. And sometimes people they're not going to want it. They want their schedule. But, it was funny, even during COVID, I have to say, my older daughter was the little small ones. She had a schedule up on that wall. And so the children knew. I think one was preschool and one was like kindergarten, and during COVID. But she had a schedule up on the wall. She said, okay, this is time for play. This is time for activities that gear towards writing or math or coding. And this is rest and fun time. She made sure they had lots of that. And they fared very well. But of course, she was able to be there for at home for the kids. But she knew the power of making sure you honor the space and time to do what you need to do, the tasks that you need. Last week we talked about masks and tasks. So she understood how your tasks have to align with your values, and the masks, how you need to find a space to make sure emotionally you put those masks down and make that time to honor yourself. So I just wanted to make sure that we talked about that, because that's a very important part of boundaries and building your strength in order to dismantle the power of people pleasing. This week was also, I put up a poll about vulnerability. So if you didn't get the chance to chime in on that, please do, because I'd love your feedback on that. And, vulnerability is a thing that actually is a strength. I know we hear so much from Brene Brown and everyone about, vulnerability. But it's very important that we create space to be with ourselves, put the mask down, and listen, process, because when we do that, we make space to evolve ourselves. No matter where we are in our journey is valuable. So honor that process of yourself and your change and your changes in life and your learning in life. It's actually reminds me of last week. I help out with my youngest grandbaby, and my younger daughter had said just how she sees things so differently as a mom now, and how everything has changed. We just came through Mother's Day, and we're going to come up on Father's Day. And I think that anyone who has been a mother, father, a mentor, a volunteer will always say you get more than you give when you help others. And vulnerability and making space to do those things, and plant those seeds in others is sacred. That what you give to others, your emotional attention and energy, is the best gift you could give to anyone. And I know that when my children were smaller, they would say, oh, sorry, but I was kind of mean mom because I was a little stricter. Even though I was a single mom, I was a bit stricter, and I didn't work to give them everything. I worked to give them what they needed. So I made sure that they had, I would say, okay, you want shampoo, you want certain things, outfits or whatever that you wanted. as they got older. Okay. I would say I would give you the basics. But if you want the fancy shampoo or cream or go to the movies, put gas in your car, you need to work for it. So they started working little jobs and things by the time they were 14, 15. And I was mean mom for that. But whether I had the resources or not, I wanted to give them the gift and the power to honor who they were, what their capabilities were, and give them an opportunity for the space to grow and their tenacity and courage. And they did. So now, as young women and mothers themselves, they feel very empowered as young women. So I just leave you with, please, I'm just encouraging you to honor your emotional and physical power and space in order to do the tasks and create the world and the life that you want for yourself as well as for others. Next week, I will talk a little bit more about enabling others, like I just shared with you, enabling others to find their own courage and power to be more self-sufficient. So I just wanted to put that in there. And so go create your own space. The weekend's coming up. So take a look around your house and see what little corner can you create just for yourself to ponder, to create, and to just get more connected with yourself. Maybe outside or just go for a walk. And I will see you next week. Thank you. Peace out.